So I've called the presentation. Sorry, one second. I need to move this out of the way. Hide. Shoot first, explain later. Next month will be 1 year that I'm taking street photographs. So actually, this is a fun moment to kind of do a look back at the journey I did this year. For those of you that don't know, my name is Nabbe. I was born in the Netherlands, but I've been living in Malta since 2002. I've been taking street photographs for almost a year, mainly when I'm out walking with my dog. And today I will share with you what I've learned this past year, and also the personal methods that I use, settings, etc., and what to look out for when doing street. So I'm trying to make it as a workshop for anyone to go out and practice yourself. But before I start, I want to thank, first of all of you for welcoming to this great little club. Everyone has been so kind. Thank you, Cornelia, for asking me to do this presentation and all the other things you've done for me. Niasha for introducing me to the club. And he is also the person that I pretty much send all my photos to, and he tirelessly provides me with valuable feedback. So we've become good friends over the past year. And also Martin, my friend Martin from Malta, who joined the club recently. So a year ago, I visited Martin's solo exhibition here in Malta, which was a street photography exhibition. And that's where I really discovered that street photography was a genre. And Martin has helped a lot in the past year with inspiration and guidance. So with that out of the way, what is street photography? Everybody hears me, right? To be on the safe side. Yes?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Because I can't see comments. So there's many definitions. I'd like to say capturing life through the unique vision of the photographer. This is what I love about street photography. We get to show the normal world, the mundane world, what is around us in interesting and different ways. And that's why no street photographer is alike and shouldn't be alike. And it is the great fun that you can really experiment and try to show your unique vision. But just as a bit of a better technical definition, it's a social documentary, candid type of photography. It's not stage, and it must include people or signs of human presence. It does not require the inclusion of a street. Some people think it has to be a street. Some people actually post pictures of streets. No, those are scapes. We actually want to see something happening on those streets. But if you have a photo of a human in another kind of habitat, their habitat, that is perfectly fine as well. And then I consider street portraits, taking knowingly or unknowingly, also part of street photography. And these are mainly the types that I focus on. So what do you need? First of all, comfortable walking shoes. I think that's the first advice, because you will be doing a lot of walking. In reality, most cameras will do. There are specific street photography cameras. I personally bought my camera before I got obsessed with street photography, and I have a Canon R6 Mark II. And my main lens, my go-to lens, is a 24-105, a zoom lens, which is great because on the wide end, you get to cover a nice wide angle on the 24, but even you have a zoom that basically means you can capture everything in front of you or on the other side of the street. I do have a 28mm pancake lens as well. It's a bit lighter, so easier to carry around for long times. And when you're in places where you don't want to be as noticeable, having a small lens can really help. And then I have a zoom as well, which sometimes I use for different perspectives and angles. So I find it important to feel the street. You have to get with the rhythm of the street. Valletta is the street where the capital of Malta, is the main city where I do my photography. I want to feel the vibe, the rhythm, the sounds, the smells. So no earbuds, no glasses. You want to hear what's happening around the corner. Sometimes you get a photo because you hear a sound. Could be a door opening, which means that a person is coming, and it will help you get ready to anticipate a shot. I personally shoot from the chest, the hand, so I hold the camera with the strap in my hand, the back screen, and also the viewfinder, generally in that order. It's something that you get used to. I like different angles, so most of the time I just hold it in my hand nowadays. My core settings are manual mode, F8. 500 is the standard. 500 to me on most days means that I can be moving and my subject can be moving and the photo will still be sharp. And then on a bright day at 100 or otherwise an auto ISO, which is easier when you're walking around, switching between shadow and sun. It helps to change, that you don't have to constantly change the settings. And for the rest, any kind of servo or wide autofocus that helps you keep the focus on the subject. And I use a continuous shutter. So if need be, I can fire a burst shot to capture that right moment. I think there's a lot of bird photographers in the club, and there are some similarities that you want to catch that perfect moment, which sometimes with a burst, it obviously helps. Like with the lady here, she had to walk exactly through this tiny sliver of light, and it's much easier when you have a burst of the chances of hitting her and hitting that spot or that moment exactly. So meeting people is easy. So when you're out, you're going to be meeting a lot of people on the street. There are laws, which I don't really want to go into very deeply because I want to get to showing as many photos. But always check the laws. Generally, if you shoot in a public space for non-commercial purposes, you should be okay with it. However, apart from laws, there's the ethical part. I have my rules, my personal rules. I think every street photographer should think about those. I feel that being out taking photos is a privilege. A lot of people on the streets have their own reason to be there. They may be there for work, they may be stressed, they may be rushing. So respect that other people are not there for you to take a photo of. I try to represent people fairly, so I don't try to show them in embarrassing ways or if they're in pain or in anguish or something. I want people to also feel good, but capture the reality. But I don't like to photograph, when people are having a bad or an embarrassing time. If asked, I always say, give the real reason why you're interested in taking their photo. This lady in this photo, for instance, she did not know I took her shot, but should she have asked, I would have said, well, I'm trying to capture, like, you look great in this sweater. I'm trying to do a black and white, or I'm trying to do a mono. You have an interesting look, and you try to explain what you're doing. Have something available like Instagram or somewhere where you can show photos of what you're doing. And should someone ask, just delete the photo if somebody doesn't want to be photographed. But for me, in a whole year, that happened twice only out of literally thousands of people I photographed. So let's start with portraits. As with regular portraits, the model obviously makes a big difference. You want to find a striking face, a mood, an emotion. These two, the people were not aware that I took their photo. The lady on the left, we became friends since. She had such an intense look that I couldn't not but to take the photo. But then afterwards, I told her that I did, which is partially the title, shoot first and then explain later if need be, because you don't want to miss this moment that will not be repeated. The gentleman was on a market. He passed me. Initially, I then kind of circled around, tried to stand in a spot where I knew that he was passing, and then he passed me without noticing that I took a shot. We did smile then at each other, but he was such a character that I really wanted to try to capture him. Markets are actually a good place, or busy streets are a good place to practice, because people will be kind of walking through one another, and you won't be as noticeable, specifically when you're just starting out. These are portraits after asking for permission. It's something that I've been practicing a bit more recently, to try to ask for a neutral expression. I try to change my settings beforehand, because when you meet someone, you want to be as quickly as possible, as in take your time, but you don't want to waste the time of the person posing for you. I've learned that a smile and a compliment go a long way. Again, like, I like your look, or I like anything that they are wearing, your glasses will go a long way. Most people, I found out, don't mind being photographed. You just need to ask politely, but also be confident. You know, you're a photographer. They don't want to take a snapshot, you know, from a tourist with a photo or with a phone. But when you show that you know what you're doing, when you're professional and friendly, my experience is that most of the time people will go along with it. So one of the first techniques I want to speak about is the hunting and fishing techniques. So hunting is on the left, is basically where you are walking through your town or the place, and something happens and you snap the shot. So in this case, I was walking up the street. This gentleman was walking down the street. I held the camera beside my leg, shot a bit upwards so I would get the street. And he looked at me, I looked at him, and we did smile and kept on walking. The photo on the right is a fishing technique, which means that you find a spot that is of interest, and then you find a spot. In this case, it's a patch of artificial light that you place in your composition, and you try to wait until people walk into the frame, like what happened here. So I'll give a few more examples of fishing. I think for anyone starting would be pockets of light. Pockets of light are the easiest way to get started with street photography. As you all know, you can't fake light. If the light is good, your eyes are drawn to it and you can take great photos. You always expose for the highlights, and specifically with modern cameras, you can go quite dark and afterwards bring the shadows up. So these are two examples on the left where there was a staircase where I had to hold my hand stretched out above my head until I had the right person of the right height walking through the frame in a way that I was looking for. And on the right, it was also a bicycle, or I was waiting for something to pass through. This is not a spot where many bicycles come. And at a point, this guy came, and luckily he filled the patch of light exactly, and he did me a favor by also looking up at the light. So I really love how that effect came. These are also fishing, but then with a little bit more dramatic lights, where again the two ladies on the left are walking down into the patch of light. So you wait for that moment and then try to see if hopefully they have an interesting pose. Obviously light clothes on a black background work well, or vice versa. On the right, this is Mdina, and this is the golden hour, where this lady, wearing also a hat, was nice enough to walk up and basically give me this very nice silhouette. So I also wanted to show you out of camera versus edited. So this photo on the left was this exchange lasted a few seconds. I saw this man standing there. I saw the shadow of the fence. Went a bit through my knees, if I remember, where I was walking, took his shot, and kept on walking. I don't think he noticed that I took his photo, but I knew that he was in the shadow. He was having a light. He was having a light suit, and that would work well in post. That I could really bring up those colors. My tip is shoot slightly wider, specifically in the beginning when you have all these lights, lines. So afterwards in editing, you have more chances to fill the frame in a nice way with lines leading to the corners and whatnot. Another way is to use urban geometry. So this is more of a shot to show scale. This was a sunrise shot. I was standing on the barrier of a bridge. And I like how the colors were. I was waiting for a character. This was about 6 in the morning. And I also tried, because I like to keep my images clean, so I tried in my composition to have the street lights match the rest of the architectural lines to make the image a bit calmer. And I love the scale that in the bottom you see the true size of the other houses. So there's quite a bit of depth and layers and scale to this one. This is also fishing. I was waiting actually for someone to walk into that patch of light. But what happened is this couple, so much in love, took an embrace and a kiss in that corner before they walked into my patch of light. But luckily, I was ready. It was in the perfect spot, and I took their photo. So it's also one of these things you need to learn to adjust, always be ready. Again, that's why I don't wear any headphones, because something can change and all of a sudden you have a different shot than you had in mind, but a lovely shot nonetheless. And afterwards, I handed the photo to this couple who were very happy with it. This is also fishing, but in a different way, with a bit of a zoom in an alley. I love using primary colors, so blue, red, yellow in the composition. Use the framing of elements around, like here a wall, a tree, something local, this old bar, and then waiting for the silhouette to happen. So here I was waiting, and the left one is actually an alley, and just out of sheer luck, a Porsche came by through this tiny alley, and I got a nice silhouette with it as well. So in mono, these work good as well. This is a very famous spot in Valletta. Many people take photos here. And I think this is partially the challenge when you're in a touristic spot, is that you try to find different ways to take photos of the same location. Here I'm using the architectural lines, and then the moment of day where the shadow is covering half the stairs. But to me, what makes this photo is the silhouette, the posture of this guy, and then his hands, and in his left hand that he's holding a cigarette, which just makes, for me, the picture much cooler. And that's one of the things I want to point out. Details help a lot. Hats, canes, glasses, wooden legs, cigarettes, anything that you can find to make the character more interesting is definitely something you should try to look for when you're out on the street. One more, this is from Budapest. Actually, when you go to big cities, you often find graffiti, other kind of street art, and posters, graffiti, things like that. So here as well, you can just easily wait for a little bit. Also, cities tend to be full of interesting characters. He had a hat, and you try to find that moment where everything kind of comes together in a pleasing way. This is in Valletta, and I want to point out diffusion. So diffusion is one technique where you use something basically in front of you, kind of like a filter. You can do it, in this case, it's a glass street sign of a bistro. And actually took many months to capture a pleasing image here, and I finally did. Why was it so hard? Because this street, and this is what I want to use this image for to explain. This is a very particular time of the day where when you come too early, the wall will be in the shade. When you come too late, the whole floor of the street, the pavement, will be in light. So there's only a small amount of time where the shadow falls as it is. And I was trying to incorporate two people with the sign, and I finally managed, because this guy was wearing white and he walks in front of this black window, and she was the opposite. And then we had a nice eye to eye as well. Plus, I focused on the sign. So the sign is sharp, the rest of the image isn't, which added that kind of bit of diffusion, that mysterious look. So all in all, I'm very happy with how that image ended up coming out, after having tried literally like for months and months with many ways in how I could make this work. So this photo, probably a lot of you would have seen. It's also fishing technique. This was the photo that I submitted. I want to take you through the process. So here I was standing in a corner. I made them in mono, but I was trying to look for this kind of look, and you can kind of see the scene unfolding. So if you look at the back, you will see already people walking up the stairs, and there's also the pigeon. So here I was standing behind the wall, because one of the most annoying things is that people are so polite, or they don't want you to take their photo when they see you, so they will stop, and sometimes you ruin that interaction, since I wanted more people in the frame here, not just one person walking by. So as you can see with the second photo, kind of it's starting to come together. And then this third photo is actually the photo that was used. So this is the only thing I did, is I darkened it, the exposure slightly here, but this is basically as it was. And you can see the people on the stairs. And then the next photo, a few seconds later, you can see the moment is lost. And so when you go here, you see this was out of camera because I exposed for the highlights. And then afterwards, it allowed me to take the elements out that I didn't like and capture this sort of bit of surreal type of image. Yeah. Then another thing is finding a story. So once you get techniques underway, finding stories, and you anticipate a moment. This is an old shop with a mannequin, and this photo came exactly as I had in mind. I thought, if I wait, maybe there will be some guy that will look at this mannequin, and I didn't have to wait long. Old men are reliable like that. He just came by after a few minutes and gave me the exact look that I was hoping for. Another thing you can experiment with is angles and lenses. So the left one is shot from a roof, and the right one is basically shot from the ground up, just next to a puddle, which makes it look like it's a very big, the reflection, the water is bigger than it really was. So changing the perspective, that's what I'm trying to say with trying to find your voice, your unique voice. You can show something which is otherwise quite normal in a very different way. So I would encourage anyone to experiment with that. Another thing to look out for is you want to work a scene and find an anchor. So what do I mean by that? Is that generally, if you have a fixed spot, then you can work the scene, walk around, find your position, and capture another moment. So in this case, the anchor on the left one, it was the guy standing there. He was standing still, and everything else was moving. And then I waited for the moment until someone else walked into the scene. Same as on the right, there was a person sitting there. This is a spot where normally nobody ever sits there. And I took that person, those legs, as the anchor, and then waited a few minutes for someone else to walk into the other spot where I wanted another human presence. So this is also a working the scene moment. Primary colors here, where it was a whole group of ladies, Italian ladies, that were not so happy having to do a tour in the rain. I walked around, and a few steps later, I found this scene where one of the ladies was looking at me, and I just loved how the other umbrellas in primary colors made it work. And if you look at the original photo, you'll see that I was able to block out the other colors and the other umbrellas with patterns, not to disrupt the scene. So weather is very important. Go out when it rains. You have much different light, different elements coming together, which is a lot of fun, and it keeps it interesting. A city is never the same when the weather changes. Also with rain, you can use puddles and reflections, which is a lot of fun to do. The two images on the left, I actually flipped, so you can flip them 180 degrees, and you get completely different perspectives. The good thing with any kind of reflection is that generally the person will look into the reflection, so you actually get an eye contact because they are looking what you were taking a photo of, not realizing that you're actually taking a photo of them. This is also a reflection, but using a shop mirror. This was a scene that I worked. The couple was inside. I tried to match the guy with the mannequin. Mannequins are always very tall, so I had to go a bit on my knees to get the angle. And once the couple was leaving the shop, the guy was in front of her, and he looked back again, trying to see what I was taking a photo of, which turned out to be him. So I got this nice 1, 2, 3 moment of matching. Then incorporating local culture and tradition is something that I enjoy doing a lot. Living in Malta, I'm trying to, well, these are all men and people just in their environment, capturing them in their own unique ways. So you're able to tell local stories and document these moments that obviously will be fleeting and disappearing maybe sometime soon. Night is another element. You use artificial light, street light, billboards, silhouettes, trying to find any kind of way to play with light and get these different feels and moods. I'm going a bit faster because I think I'm overstaying my welcome maybe. So let me go a few more slides. Another few techniques that are a lot of fun to play with is slow shutter speed or intentional camera movement. The one on the left is intentional camera movement, and the other two are slow shutter speed. Where, for instance, a street artist, or a musician, I tried to capture him, and I managed to get him in 2 poses, with one looking at me. And the bottom one is a bus stop, and a guy waiting, and then buses pass. So there's a lot of fun you can do with these kinds of techniques to just also change it up a little bit and keep it fresh. Mono is its whole own category. I love where mono comes together, contrasting black and white. The photo on the left was taken whilst walking from holding the camera in my hand, and this was in Rome, and I really wanted to capture the zebra with then a zebra sweater, and then she was also wearing Adidas, so everything came nicely together. Same as with the other 2 photos, contrasting of black and white, and I really always love capturing these kinds of moments. Details is another element that I really enjoyed, and I'm starting to do a little bit more recently, rather than a whole a whole person, you try to capture what makes them a little bit different or a little bit standing out. Again, using unusual perspectives. From the guy, I was very low, and the lady, I basically held the camera above my head and shot it from upwards down. And luckily, she wasn't too tall, so I was able to get this angle. Different characters, angles, layers. Here, I tried to get to the perspective of the dog. So again, I went on my knees, and you can look the dog in the eyes. But then, for me, like, the image is pleasing also because when you look at the lines, the guy was in the middle, and even the people in the background add some further character to the whole scene. But that is something you need to, you get better at it. But I positioned myself so I knew that the guy was in the middle of the street, because I knew it would become a more pleasing image. This is also one, it's not the sharpest, but I just love this moment that no one ever knew that there were two matching elements between the mother and the son, and then the lady on the left and the lady at the back, which is just one of those fun things on the street that you get to be a witness of. Same as here, this is incorporating a few techniques, making it a bit surreal. There's a woman waiting for the bus on the left. In the back, there's the billboard of the bus. On the right, there's the electronic board, which also gives a reflection of the people and the buses that you see on the billboard on the left. So it kind of all comes together to me in this cool sort of way, where, when you do street photography, it's just something fun to find these matching moments. And the last thing, fun. So very important, don't take yourself too seriously. You go out, you witness us humans in very different and fun ways. And that's one of my favorite things, that it's always exciting to go, because you never know what you're going to find, and you're witness to all these unique moments. So to summarize, don't worry about gear. You just have to go and practice. Forget about your shutter count, because you will have to take a lot of photos. I would really recommend, which is something Martin also told me, is look at photography books by famous street photographers for inspiration. So those things will stick, and once you're on the street, you will start identifying other photos that you like, other techniques. Don't feel shy to copy other photographers, to emulate their style. I don't think I found my own style. I'm just been having too much fun the whole year taking photos. But looking at great street photographers really helps with your confidence and finding inspirational shots. I would try to find an area that's easily accessible. You don't have to fly to a city. Anywhere where it's safe, where you can go around. Try to go there often. Try to go there different times a day and really get to feel that rhythm of the city. And follow your intuition. To me, I don't like when people say, oh, you can't do that. It's different than competitions. I think you should just go with it. Go with whatever you feel like taking photos of, and show your streets through your eyes. Those are, to me, the most interesting photos. And so you will miss most of your shots, but when you do get it right, you will have a unique shot that only you could have taken. And that's it. Thank you very much.